Please adhere to YouTube selected guidelines before viewing the content of this video. I do not encourage or condone any products, actions, or behaviors shown in this video. All videos are produced in a safe, professional, and controlled environment. Please do not attempt to replicate any actions performed during video. All actions are performed by professionals.
Alright, so today I'm going to be smoking a cigarette that does not have an asbestos filter. That's right, y'all heard me correctly. Today I'm going to be smoking a cigarette that does not have an asbestos filter. Not one with an asbestos filter, one that does not have an asbestos filter. And the reason for that is quite simple. It's because today I want to smoke a cigarette, and it's because in the modern world today, there are no cigarettes made with an asbestos filter. In fact, to my knowledge at least, there has only ever been one singular cigarette that has ever been made with a filter that contains asbestos. And that would be the Kent Micronites from, what was it, the 50s or 60s in the United States. Those are really hard cigarettes to find, very rare, very expensive when you do find them. And they're a very unique thing, and they were pulled from the market very quickly when everybody realized that maybe putting asbestos in the filter of a cigarette is not such a great idea. As such, every single cigarette today is made without an asbestos filter. And so yeah, today I'm just going to be smoking a cigarette without an asbestos filter, which I'm looking forward to doing much more so than not. What I'm going to be smoking in specific is a Lucky Strike Red 100 cigarette from the United States, and I do suppose without further ado, I should probably go ahead and get this pack all opened up, go ahead and get one of the cigarettes inside all out, and now that I have done that, let's go ahead and grab my lighter out of my pocket, and let's go ahead and get this cigarette right here, which does not have an asbestos filter, all lit up, and let's go ahead and get to smoking a cigarette without an asbestos filter, not with, without. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get to smoking. Yes, sir, you know what I'm saying? I will acknowledge, though, if I do ever get the opportunity to try a cigarette with an asbestos filter, in specific, a Kent Micronite, in the future, it will be very tempting to try one. Probably a really bad idea to try one, because the filters literally contain asbestos. I mean, like, that's the same material that has entire buildings, like, torn down just because it's such a pain to get rid of it, and because it's so dangerous to the human body that they just tear down buildings to get rid of it rather than refurbishing and just redoing the buildings instead. I really don't think smoking a cigarette with an asbestos filter is a good idea. And it would, without a doubt, be the most dangerous cigarette I would have ever smoked. I mean, like, cigarettes already are certainly not safe by any means. They certainly do cause health implications over an extended period of time. But Kent Micronites cause health complications over not as much of an extended period of time. I mean, like, we're talking like a year, maybe 2 years is when they would start causing health complications, which is pretty crazy, frankly put. So as much as I would love to say that I would absolutely love to smoke a Kent Micronite if I ever got the opportunity to do so, I would really have to think so much about whether I would actually want to go through with doing that or not. Would it be really tempting? Because, I mean, like, man, you only live once. Why not try smoking an asbestos-filtered cigarette? But at the same time, you only live once. And I have so many more cigarettes that I want to smoke. Besides just the Kent Micronites. Those are one of, like, my top cigarettes I definitely would love to have if I really wanted to commit to doing that. But I have so many other cigarettes that I want to try as well. And if the Kent Micronites are gonna stop me from enjoying the rest of my cigarettes because of asbestos poisoning, then I don't know if I want to have one. I think they would be really interesting to have. I feel like it's a really bad idea, though. There is a very legitimate reason why they are not sold today anymore, which is the fact that they are extremely dangerous. I think they were pulled from the market in like 2.5, 3 years, something like that kind of thing. So like even when they were on the market in, what was it, the I think it was the 60s. I could be wrong. Even when they were on the market, though, people realized very quickly that these were a horrible idea. And I honestly, personally think that Kent Micronites are the reason why Kent, as a brand, is not particularly easy or common to find in the United States today. Because while Kents today do no longer use asbestos filters, I really do think the whole Micronite asbestos fiasco has really followed the brand in the United States to the fullest extent, leading to the brand not being nearly as popular as it could very well be. I mean, like, outside of the United States, Kents are actually pretty common cigarettes. I think they're sold in Mexico. They're quite common in Japan. I've heard they're pretty common in Europe as well. But in the United States, that's not the case at all. And I really do think it was due to the whole Micronite fiasco, frankly put. As amusing as it would be if Kent Micronites were still sold on the market in the United States today, I don't think that would be a good idea. I think that would be a horrible idea, frankly put. And as said previously, just a little bit earlier on during this video, as much as I would love to smoke a Kent Micronite cigarette, I really don't think that would be a particularly good idea. I really do think that that would be, without a doubt, the most dangerous cigarette I would have ever smoked. I mean, like, that's probably as dangerous as, like, smoking a moldy cigarette, if not more dangerous. And I ain't willing to smoke moldy cigarettes kind of thing. I've gotten moldy rolling tobacco before. I did not smoke that stuff. Ain't no way am I smoking that stuff, because I don't want mold getting into my lungs and affecting my smoking performance in the future. And I pretty much just feel the same way about asbestos. I don't want asbestos getting in my lungs and affecting my smoking performance in the future. I'm addicted to cigarettes after all. I can't be having nothing affect my smoking performance in the future. But Kent Micronites are also quite the legendary cigarettes. For all the wrong reasons, granted. But they are quite the legendary cigarettes. And so if I had the opportunity to try one, I would really have to sit down and think about it. Okay, what are the pros of trying this and what are the cons of trying this? Pros would be like, I get to smoke a Kent Micronite and I get to say that I've smoked a cigarette that has an asbestos filter. Cons would be possible life-altering illnesses and death. Yeah, Now, I don't think one Kent Micronite cigarette would kill me, by any means. I don't think one Kent Micronite would kill me. But at the same time, I still don't think they're a really good idea to smoke. But as said, if I did get my hands on a pack of Kent Micronites, I would be so legitimately tempted to try one. If I got my hands on a pack, I would be so tempted to try one. Just to see what they're actually like, and to see if the asbestos in the filter really made a difference, because they marketed it as being a really smooth cigarette due to the asbestos in the filter. Is that actually the case? I would be very curious to find out. But, while I don't think one Kent Micronite would kill me, I still don't think it's a good idea. I'm basically just trying to rationalize that smoking a Kent Micronite would totally be okay if I smoked just one of them. But in my brain, in the back of my head, I know it would be a horrible idea and it would be something that I should absolutely not do. But you only live once. Overall, how has this experience been, where I have been smoking a cigarette without an asbestos filter? It's been pretty solid. I don't feel like I'm getting any life-altering illnesses right now. I don't feel like I'm being safe by any means. I'm still smoking a cigarette after all, but I don't want to say I feel like I'm being safer, but yeah, I feel like I'm being safer right now than if I was smoking an asbestos-filtered cigarette. So I will acknowledge I am glad that I am smoking a cigarette that does not contain an asbestos filter right now. I will acknowledge I am glad I am smoking this specific cigarette and not one with an asbestos filter right now. I think I've got probably one more hit left. It's cold out here, let me tell y'all what. It is chilly. It is like, I want to say 20 degrees Fahrenheit out here right now. It is cold, let me tell y'all what. I enjoyed my cigarette that did not contain an asbestos filter today. I enjoyed this experience. Can I say with certainty that smoking a cigarette without an asbestos filter is a solid experience? I would have to say certainly is. Certainly is. Absolutely no complaints on my behalf. And, the discussion during today's video, I feel like there's a pretty good discussion about the pros and cons of smoking asbestos-filtered cigarettes. I feel like there's a pretty good discussion. No complaints. No complaints. Appreciate y'all watching today's video. Hope you guys have enjoyed watching today's video. If you guys have, like, subscribe. Check out everything in the description down below. I think that's everything I had to say. So to the next one, stay safe in peace and have a great one. Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying?